Alright, I lied. I lied in the last video. I've actually got time for one more Scriddle before I go away. This is Scriddle number 14. If you've not seen it before, we're going to try and solve this puzzle without knowing any of the rules. We're going to make some inputs, we're going to hit guess, Scriddle's going to tell us if we broke any rules, and just from knowing that, we're going to try and figure out what the answer to this puzzle is. If you want a fuller explanation, go watch Scriddle number 9. I've got a playlist with all of these in. This is the first Scriddle we've seen, I believe, of this type, like with these shapes, these circles on the borders between tiles. But it looks like the things we can do are the same as ever. We can just shade tiles or unshade them. We actually can't interact with the circles. So, what are the possibilities here? First thing to notice is all of the corner tiles have circles on either side of them. That might be because corners are unusual in this puzzle, and so they always have to be the same. But it does seem like there's something interesting about these. I'm wondering if it's a situation where... Oh, but some of these circles are actually between between 4 tiles. My initial thought is that a circle means that a square is only shaded on one side or the other. And in fact, I'm going to just... And so for this, it would be like one of these 4 is shaded, basically. So I'm just going to test this theory right quick. Oh, we're already running into a problem here. Very interesting. Yep. Okay, let's just do the corners, because that's a bit quicker. Do you... one of these 4, so that would satisfy all of those. That would mean those had to be shaded. Do that, and then that and that, and I'm thinking that checks the rule. This grid breaks the red rule, breaks the orange rule. Alright, hold on. So, could be that none of the squares have to be adjacent to each other, and I've broken the orange rule. How have I broken that? That's strange, because those white squares are also kind of highlighted to tell us that it's not just the dark squares that break the orange rule, it's actually the light squares as well. Let's focus on this first, maybe. So we can't have tiles next to each other. So this feels like a puzzle to me. I think we're on the right track, because now what we're looking at these 4 tiles here. We know that one of these 2 has to be shaded, and one of these 2 has to be shaded. But they can't be next to each other, so it's got to be like this, or like this. But we also know that this one here has to have one of its 4 shaded. So actually, as a result of this, we know that one of these 2 has to be shaded, which means that neither of these ones can be. And if neither of these ones can be, then this one is shaded. One of these 2 is, again, we can't be neighboring here, so it's probably this one. The only problem here is that I don't see how you would tell... I don't see how you disambiguate between... Sorry, I don't know if my washing machine is audible in the background. I don't know how you would tell between these 2 scenarios, so I'm guessing that the orange rule, or there's some other rule that will help us figure out which one of these is allowed. And I'm wondering if it is to do with white space gaps between tiles. It might not be. None of these white spaces here were problematic, but let's just put in one of those for now. Again, we've got a similar thing here. One of these has to be filled, one of these has to be filled. That means this one can't be, so this one has to be. Ah, maybe this is where it comes in. Okay, so one of these has to be, which means that these 2 can't, which means one of these has to be. It can't be this one right now, so let's do this one. And then let's arbitrarily do this one. I don't want to guess just yet, actually. Let's go back to the orange rule. Very strange. What's special about these 5 squares here at the bottom? What is something that we haven't repeated anywhere else? It does feel like... The most specific rule I could think of is that it's shaded white, shaded white, shaded. That isn't anywhere else, it's true, but it's a very arbitrary rule. But we can test it, right? We can test it. If we just flip these, I think that will do us. So let's make this our guess. Okay. Ooh, interesting. So this is another sort of equidistant pattern of 3s. So it's shaded 2 whites, shaded 2 whites, shaded. So that could be it. We could sort of disrupt that by doing this, I think. That all looks fine. But what is this new rule that we've broken? This is like a... Well, I think we can do this. And we might have created a similar problem here. It's got to be one or the other. I mean, yeah, let's do this and then... Oof. Yeah, let's do this. I think we may still have broken the great yellow rule here. Ooh, we did it! Amazing! Okay. Very nice. Okay, I definitely want to see the rules for this one because I definitely don't know what happened with that yellow rule at the end. So let's see what we're going on. Now, bearing in mind, again, I didn't mention this before, it's called No 3. Okay, that's good. The colors of the rules here are not the same as the colors of the rules in the main page that we just looked at. What they will tell us there is they will tell us them in the order we break them. So the first rule you break is always the red rule. But the red rule here is different. This is kind of the official solution. So we never saw this rule because we always had shaded tiles. We did detect that we shouldn't have tiles adjacent. We noticed that almost instantly. That was great. The unshaded cells are divided. I don't know what that means. I don't think we broke that one. A dot doesn't overlap a shaded cell. That we sort of had that implicit from the shaded cell one, I think. A dot overlaps more than one shaded cell. Again, I feel like we had that one. 3 consecutive cells in the same row have the same distance. Oh, we actually did intuit that one. That's pretty cool. And I feel like a week ago I would have felt that rule was too arbitrary to have detected. I feel like I have learned something about the way these people design puzzles. Because this is a big community of people that are coming up with these puzzle concepts. And I remember some of the early Scriddles I was really struggling with because they would have these rules that just had like numbers in them. It was like, you know, you can't have 3 of this or you must have 4 of this. And I was like, man, this feels so arbitrary. But actually now, a week later, I'm beginning to read this language and I can see like, oh, actually, yeah, I wonder if it is the case that, you know, it's always this pattern. I'm not sure. Maybe it was this rule, the unshaded. Oh, I know what they mean. Okay, we did break this rule at the end. So essentially, the way I would have phrased this in other Scriddles is all the white area must be contiguous. The unshaded area must be contiguous. So in this example, the yellow tiles are blocking off this little group of white cells. And I think I had done the same at the end there. So this was the other rule we broke. Very, very satisfying. A nice one to go out on. Now I am going away for Christmas. I'm going away imminently. Basically an hour after this video will go up. But yeah, I hope you do some more Scriddle over the break. I'll be doing more Scriddle at home. And yeah, I'll speak to you in the new year, maybe. Bye.